The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the podcasters and any guests and do not reflect the views, thoughts, and opinions of any of the sponsorships or affiliates of thereof.
You are now tuned to the Lake Talk with your host, G Daddy Funk. The Lake Talk.
Yo, what's up? This is Fonzie from the Lake Talk 801. To my right, we have G Daddy Funk.
What's up?
To my left, we have the Real Ruby.
Howdy, y'all.
And if you guys are wondering why in the world am I sitting here in the center in between these two bozos, let me let you know why. Because G Daddy Funk said that he feels that I should be the host of the Lake Talk 801 and not him.
I never said that.
And not only that, at least he said I should be the main host because we're all hosts at the end of the day, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But
Ruby, how do you feel about that?
I'm gonna stay out of this one, man. I'm gonna stay out of this one.
Nah, I'm just playing. Yeah. That's what.
Do your thing, Fonzie. Do your thing, man.
Wait, no. Wait. I want to know. Do you want to take over and sit? Actually, we should rotate once in a while.
You know
right?
what? You know what? Move.
Okay.
Right now, man. I'm just playing.
Play music.
I like that. I like the idea of rotating, but like I said, I'm gonna stay out of it. So
Wait up. Why?
Between you two, I'm gonna stay out of it.
Oh, whatever, bro.
I don't know what Memo said or what
all
you
of
said.
a sudden.
I'll have to rewind the tapes and go back and look at it.
Okay.
We can
All
do
right.
that.
Well,
Hey, but that is a good idea to kind of mix it up and have Ruben in the middle, put him on the hot seat, I guess we could call it.
yeah.
I've sat in that chair before. It's not that hot.
So you think you could do it?
What? Sit,
Damn. His
All right, next one.
his confidence level is like off the roof today.
It's not that. I mean, what? You just bringing in the show? It's not that hard.
Okay. Hey, next one, you got
okay.
it, bro.
All right.
You got it.
All right.
Because
Next.
Fonzie, you were nervous last time.
Bro, this shit is different, right? Especially because you caught me off guard.
Okay.
And you're all like, hey, we're going to switch today. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, you're going to sit there. And I was like,
He did
bro.
catch me off guard with that one too, because he decided like right before we started recording.
Yeah.
So
And it was weird. Like, because when you get used to doing a certain thing for a certain amount of time, it's like it's a pattern, right?
Right.
So then you guys straight up just like messed up that pattern, that routine. So
don't say you guys. I didn't say nothing. I was sitting here quiet. I was sitting.
hey,
where
bro,
I always sit.
there's no I in team, motherfucker. So we're a team. So yeah, you're included in this bitch. You could have been like
true.
you could have been like, hey, bro, sit down over there, bro. Just go back. Don't listen to G Dad. You could have said that.
I think I did say something like that.
No, you didn't.
No, you
I
think or
think
you
I
know.
I think I did.
When
I'm
I said
not-
that,
I'm
he
not gonna
just-
argue with
he
you
just
about
looked
that
at me
'cause you
and he
probably
was
did.
like,
Well, because it doesn't matter to me who sits to my right or
The duck lips, huh? He gave you the duck lips.
yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
Damn.
We're not taking pictures.
Shit, bro.
Anyways, well, before we go any farther, our podcast is now sponsored, supported by Bohemian Brewery, crafting Utah's finest lagers since 2001.
Yes.
Our favorite is their Mexican-style lager, Cerveza. Smooth, easy drinking, and literally perfect for any occasion. So go ahead and check that out.
Yeah, they literally are smooth for any occasion.
Hey, bro, you know what's
Definitely.
crazy? Like, a lot of people have been asking me, like, hey, you guys are now sponsored. Like, yeah. Like, I love Bohemian Brewery. I love it. Like, I love that Cerveza. I love all their drinks, you know?
Food.
Yeah. And do they have a seasonal right now, right?
Yeah, they do have a seasonal right now. It just came out.
Yeah.
It's their winter seasonal beer. It's called Brewski.
Yeah.
And it's a mountain pilsner, similar to their Czech pilsner,
Yeah.
but lighter in body and in color, but brewed with floral mountain hops. Good for any time on the mountain or for any time during the winter.
Damn, and those are good as well.
Do you remember when
Yeah.
we went to
right
to
here.
snowboard, right? Oh, yeah, look at that.
Yep.
Beautiful can, by the way.
Yeah, all their cans are really, really, really nice.
They have, definitely. They have that art feeling to it.
Which one are you drinking right now, Fonzie?
Oh, I'm drinking the Bohemian.
I think you're looking at the wrong side.
Oh, the Zek. What? Czech?
The Checulator.
Check you later. Oh,
Yeah, the Checulator.
Oh
smooth and robust.
Yep.
This is one of their more higher point.
Yeah,
beers.
9% alcohol volume.
Yeah. So tell me how you feel in a couple minutes.
I'll let you know.
We'll
I'll
check
let you
in.
know
How's
for
the
sure.
flavor on
Count
that
on
one,
you.
Fonzie?
Yeah. Huh?
How's the flavor on the Checulators?
As a matter of fact, I'm about to have my first drink right
Let's
now.
see.
All right, let's see.
It's delicious, bro. It has like a little, kind of like a coffee taste to it a little bit.
Oh, interesting.
Coffee?
Yeah, like a little bitter,
So it's a dark.
dark. Yeah.
It is dark.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like you.
It's good.
I'm gonna have to have one of those.
Hey. All right. Well.
But yeah, big shout out to Bohemian Brewery for rocking with us and sponsoring us. So yeah, big
Definitely.
thank you to them.
Yeah, man. What's up, man? The holidays are coming up.
Yeah.
Are you
fuck.
guys ready for that?
No.
I'm honestly not. No.
No, I'm not.
I don't even know like what the fuck I'm gonna be doing these holidays. My family is like all scattered all over. So
No, for real.
yeah, like I have like my sister's like moved to Draper. I have family in fucking where is it? God damn it. What's the name of that city? Saratoga Springs. Yeah. So now I don't know. I really don't know what we're gonna do.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, what about you?
Same. I don't know.
You don't know yet?
This year went by super fast, man. I don't think I was ready for it.
I mean, it's been this whole week, like this past 2 weeks, it's been going crazy for us, right? We're just on the go, and things just keep popping up here and there, man. Have you been doing anything to kind of like alleviate that? You know what I'm saying? Kind of, relax and stuff, and trying to wind a little bit, wind down. You?
Oh, actually, when was it? Like last week on Monday, I went to my last basketball game because I was on the team. On the basketball team,
Oh,
remember?
shit, I didn't even know that.
I haven't gone for fucking weeks, and they hit me up. They're like, hey, this is our last game. You want to come? I'm like, sure. I went, and, bro, I felt better after that.
For
Did
real?
you score
Yeah.
any points?
We'll talk about that later.
No, I'm asking you right now.
Oh,
Listeners
wow.
wanna
No, I
know.
didn't.
You didn't score any points.
Nah.
So did you get any assists?
Oh, actually, I did. My bad.
You did?
I did. Yeah. I got it.
cool.
I got.
What was it?
I got one basket,
Or
one layup. Yeah,
Was it a layup?
layup, and then I know. And yeah, I felt good after that. That kind of helped, to be honest.
Well, I mean, I think when you go through situations like that where everything's just going, you're scatterbrained, you just don't know what to do because you're busy, you're always on the go. Working out is always a good thing, or doing some type of sport will help you kind of, get your mind right in a sense, But what about you? Have you? I mean, I know you haven't really been doing anything like that because of the accident or whatnot. But are you thinking about doing something? Shit.
Right now I'm actually gonna be going back to work next week. So
Oh shit! Hell yeah!
besides just doing my exercises at home that my physical therapist has been giving me,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna try to get back to work and maybe that way just be a little bit more active.
Excuse me?
I didn't mean to do that
And
one.
then I mean I want to go get back into the gym, but we'll see what happens.
Hell yeah!
Hell
That's
yeah,
cool,
bro.
bro. That's good news.
Yeah,
That's good news.
Definitely, man. Okay. Well, speaking about sports and, kind of working out and things like that, we have a special guest today.
We do.
And this is the first time we're meeting him. And it was pretty interesting to kind of like getting him on here because someone reached out, and it's a friend of ours, a friend of the podcast, and he was telling me, hey, my brother wants to come through and speak on what they're doing. And I was kind of curious. I'm like, well, what is he doing? And he, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna let him explain it. But we have Danny today.
Hey.
What's up, guys? Thank you so much.
Hey.
Appreciate you guys having me on your podcast today.
Yeah, man. And you're with Bandits Basketball,
Yes, sir. Salt Lake Bandits.
Salt Lake Bandits. That's what's up.
So why don't you just go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourselves and what you do?
For sure. So my name is Danny. I'm the head coach of Salt Lake Bandits, the main team. But we started 2017.
Okay.
Excuse me. So we started back then, and really we just started to have a team for a lot of the underprivileged or the guys that aren't getting playing time, things like that. We started it for that. And really we started with a bunch of guys that didn't make their high school team or didn't know how to play competitively. And it hit us hard the first season. We would go out to Vegas and we'd get beat by like 40, 50 points. Yeah, it was rough, man. But as we continued on, we kept recruiting more. We kind of got more exposure on Instagram and things like that. And even after the season, we had hungry players that they didn't accept losing by 40, and neither did I as a coach. So we just kept training, and luckily starting in 2020, we started going off to Denver and Vegas and started beating some of those Vegas teams and taking gold.
Oh, wow.
And then this last year, same thing. We went to West Coast Elite in Las Vegas and took first place there too. So definitely getting ourselves on the map, and it far away from losing by 40, 50 points, definitely.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, definitely it is. Well, what got you into this? And are you the head coach, by the way?
Yeah, so we have 4 different teams, and so when we started as 2017, we were just one varsity team.
Okay.
Just one varsity team of 10 guys and back then we could only get 10 guys to show up to tryouts. So whoever showed up, we were like, cool, that's our squad.
Hey.
We're gonna run with them.
Hey.
And as we started getting more and more wins and we started getting on the map, we've actually expanded to 4 teams. So we have a Bandits Elite, which we have them compete against the best locally and in the nation. Then we have Bandit Select, which is some of the younger guys and some of the guys that aren't competing at that level just yet, but they're ready to take that next step. Then we have a Bandit Sophomore team, and then we have a Bandits U15 team. Okay. So we've definitely expanded as we've gotten more wins, and we want to be able to help more kids than just one team. Gotcha. You know, it came to a point where we're like, shoot, we got 30 kids trying out, and we can't cut all of them just to keep a team of 10. Like, we got a lot of kids that are hungry, so we expanded from there.
Whoa. Nice. So, did you grow up here in Salt Lake?
Yeah, I did. Yep, pretty much West Valley and Kearns.
Okay. Did you play sports?
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing. A lot of times my players will ask me, like, so what high school did you play for, coach? And I didn't play high school ball. I actually grew up playing competitive soccer, club soccer and high school soccer. And so, but we actually watched basketball since we were little, huge Lakers fans, and just grew up watching. Yes, sir.
You're not watching them, though, right now, huh?
Right now, I watch them, but definitely got to watch them with
like
some pain. Exactly.
Yeah.
If I was coaching them right now, this would be hurting.
So
definitely with some hurt this year. But yeah, it started off from there, just liking the game of basketball. And my younger brother, his freshman year, he wasn't able to make his high school team due to grades. Yeah. So he was the first one that was like, yo, like, I don't want to just play soccer. I want to play basketball. So the only way I knew how to start a team was our church ball team in Magna. Oh. And so that team was used to getting smacked every year by, the churches with more money or on the east side. So it started there, man, just recruiting kids from Magna just to play ball that either didn't make their high school team. Then we started winning the church ball league, and it was like, all right, exactly. Let's level up. I want more. I bet we can do more. And at that point, my younger brother got good enough to make his high school team. So nice. I was like, all right, well, he's not going to be on the church ball team anymore. So I gotta figure out a way. So that's when he got invited to club.
At what point did you feel like you were good enough to even coach, bro? Like, because that's a whole totally different sport.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For
exactly.
Soccer.
So just growing up, man, like I was all, like, in junior high, I was a captain of the soccer team. And even in high school, I loved, like, setting up on Fridays after school. We'd get out early. So I'd be like, hey, yo, everyone that plays soccer, come on Friday. Let's set up some scrimmages. Let's set some stuff going. So I always loved leading that in general. And then just outside of coaching, I was learning how to be a team lead at my work at a call center.
Okay.
So I was a young guy having to lead 30, 40-year-olds, and I was like 19, 20 as a manager. So it was really just learning how to lead people and then loving the game.
When you say learning, do you mean like you were reading books? You were kind of studying in the field?
Yeah, for sure. I hate losing. I hate losing. So it was that, man, like going into games and seeing like, damn, that team beat us bad. Like, how much of it is skill and how much of it is like preventable? Yeah. And if it's preventable, like, what can I do as a coach to prevent that loss next time? And shoot, I still take that, but yeah, like I said, it took some 40, 50 point losses and sitting there and being like, dang, like what happened there?
Yeah, I mean, 40 point loss.
Oh man, and I remember him, man. Like I remember, shoot, even in these AAU leagues, like you go in to play against Alta High School, Olympus High School, like these tough schools, man. And I just remember walking into it and them looking at your team and thinking like, who are we playing? Like, all right, bet, like we're about to win by 50, and they did. And it's a much different story now. Like I definitely can say this last summer we beat Olympus in one of our semifinal games, and shoot, that's a check mark on me for my coaching resume where I'm like, yeah, like we were able to get that done against a really good team, and shoot, they weren't happy after that, so it felt good, man.
Hell yeah. So talking about leadership and stuff, so you were working at a call center and you're like, okay, you developed this leadership skill, you're saying. So right now with kids, it's a little bit different though, right? Because with kids, I don't know, they're not that mature that they're going to listen to you right off the bat. Can you pick out like, okay, this kid's going to be good, he's going to be able to listen? Yeah. And what do you do if they don't listen?
Yeah, that's a good point. So outside of Bandits, I coach at Hunter High School, and just in general, like West Valley, Magna, Kearns. Like the funniest comment that I always get at work, especially now that I work with like a higher up like group of people, there they'll say like, "Oh, you coach those kids?" Like, "Oh, those are the ghetto kids." Like, "Oh man, I'm sorry for you." And it's always just like, well, why? Like, or what do you mean by that?
Damn.
And so, yeah, there is that tough attitude. You definitely can't go into these communities and be like, I'm your coach. You got to respect me. So to answer your question, how do I deal with a kid that doesn't take coaching, man? I think it's a big part of like, I can't just go in there and demand their respect.
Right.
I got to get to know them, get to know why they are that way. And a lot of the times it's either what's going on at home for them or that's just who they are.
I think majority of the time it would be that, right?
Exactly.
Like what's going down at home.
Exactly, man. And a lot of the time they don't have someone to motivate them or push them, or if there is someone that pushes them, it's negatively, you know? So it's just pushing them positively, man. Like I think that's the shocker for them. And even me growing up, I remember I had coaches that it was always like old school coaches and really old coaches that would be like getting on you, and they wouldn't understand there's more to life than just that sport itself. And if you don't get to know those players,
Because you have to create a bond.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, again, there's going to be in the middle of a game where I'm chewing them out. And if I haven't been able to build that respect, then when I was growing up, like I'd be like, man, who's this guy? Trying to yell at me like that. I don't even know you like that.
Yeah.
Like, come on. So getting to know them and building that relationship, man, like actually getting to know the players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, when you first created the team, who did you see or who did you know that weren't getting the play times that they deserved or didn't make these high school basketball teams and all that?
Yeah, so first year, my brother is just a good example. Like his freshman year, they cut him for grades, but even then they told him like, nah, man, like if you play for this team, you're not gonna get a lot of minutes. So it turned into a full circle when in one of our AAU tournaments, he ended up dropping like 30 on a lot of the kids that were on the high school team that he was that he wasn't going to be good on.
Right.
And we ended up winning the championship against them. And so it's like, it came full circle. And my brother was probably like, when people ask me like, oh, well, why'd you start Bandits, all that, it was really that like, well, shoot, man, if you want to do this, like, I'll help you, I'll train you, I'll coach you, and like, we'll get there. And by his senior year, he was able to get an offer to go play at the next level.
That's dope.
So he was really the first one that set that step of like, all right, like you're not playing a lot in high school. Like that's not the only way to get noticed for college or to play college.
Right.
So a lot of players have proved that we've seen in our program.
Man, what are things that you had to learn, you know, like when, because I'm pretty sure you get frustrated, you know, especially with kids.
Yeah.
What are things that you had to learn to kind of like, you know, hold back and you know, kind of redirect that frustration into something positive?
Yeah. So I mean, I've had players quit on me when I first started.
Damn.
Just because I did push a lot, you know, like I didn't, and even now in this area, you know, I didn't get the whole like, oh, it's because I'm hurt, like I can't play, or oh, it's because I got this going on.
What did you think when people when they would come
I
were lazy?
Exactly. I just be like, oh, come on, man, like team first, like, or come on, like, I know you're not that hurt. Like if you're walking, like you're not that hurt.
Yeah.
And so it really is just like there is a change in the era too, and the players and even the youth. Like now, like the more you push, bro, like they're gonna want to quit or they're not gonna want to do it. So you have to meet them in the middle. Gotcha. So I think that was one of the first and biggest lessons that I learned is like, man, if I push too hard, I'm gonna lose my players. Like I got to meet them in the middle somehow.
And this is at Hunter High. We're talking about all these kids at Hunter High.
No. So this was even when I first started. At Hunter High, some of the lessons that I've learned, and even just at Bandits, because a lot of our guys at Hunter or even at Bandits play West Valley, Magna. The biggest thing there is a lot of the times I've even seen it where, oh, well, I'm from West Valley, so I'm just gonna play ball. I'm not gonna put in that work because guys that they go to Corner Canyon, guys that play on the east side, they're going to make it. I'm probably not. So I'm just going to play.
Just to get by.
Just to get by, exactly. Yeah. And shoot, I had that mentality. Like,
did you?
Even with basketball, man. Like, I was like, well, I play soccer, but I love basketball, but I'm not going to venture into another sport. Like, that's a whole nother. Yeah. But if it's one thing that I realized with Bandits and coaching is, like, it's possible. Like,
it is possible.
It is for sure. Whether you're from West Valley, you're from Magna, Kearns, like, it's possible. You put in the work.
Have you witnessed it?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
For sure. We have a few players, and just a good example. I have a player named Pablo that this last year he graduated 2 years ago, But this last summer he started putting in work, and one of our recruiters that helps with Bandits, he reached out and said, hey, this college in Colorado, they need a guy. They need a tall guy that can play. Do you have anyone? I was like, shoot, I have someone that's ready right now. We called him, called up Pablo, and he said, hey, I'm ready. If they're ready, I'm ready. And it's crazy, man. Within 2 days, he signed, and he's out there playing.
Wow.
And so we're going to be seeing him play against Slick at December 13th. So,
nice.
yeah, so that's full circle, man. Full circle.
Right.
Congratulations to him.
Yeah, definitely.
Shout out to him. How did I know COVID was a really fucked up time for sports. How did that affect your team at the level that you guys play at?
It's crazy you bring up that year. That was probably the worst season that Bandits had. I even questioned, like, shoot, we probably got to call it here. Like,
You were gonna quit.
Yeah, exactly. I was.
Wow.
It was bad, man. Like, a lot of the first 3 months of AAU, which is like March. Season goes from like March till August, even longer. From March till May, June, there was no tournaments, nothing like that. A lot of players stopped playing. And the players that were playing for the higher up clubs or the ones that require more money. So that season, it really came down to like, hey, who's trying to play? Who still wants to play? Who still wants to get that exposure?
Yeah.
And so that season was tough, from not being able to practice, gyms not being open. It was rough. It was rough. And then when it comes to recruiting for a lot of those players, you had a lot of colleges that were like, hey, man, we can't take any of your seniors because we have freshmen at our school that didn't even get to play their senior or their season. So we got everything is behind. So pretty much that class of 2020 kind of got screwed over when it comes to recruiting, because a lot of colleges were like, well, we got to run our season back. So we got our full teams. Like, we got our full teams. So you just got to chill for a bit till we see what these guys do.
Damn.
And so it definitely was, it was impactful in that sense too.
Were there any restrictions for the basketball players?
Yeah, they had to wear masks even before you entered. So we have tournaments at the convention center, both Vegas and here in Salt Lake. Mm-hmm. And before you can even enter, you had to have your team like lined up in a specific booth with masks on. Once it was 10 minutes before game time, someone came out and walked your team to the court that you were going to be on.
Man.
Yeah, and then as soon as your game was over, you couldn't say like good game. It was like, all right, let's go. Like, you're off. Next team's got to walk out. So you had to walk out, get recruited, or like get escorted out to the exit, and then you were good to go. Like,
there were no immunization requirements or
yeah,
like
yep. So on our roster, before we even showed up, our roster had to show, like, we had to. And some tournaments were different. They were still trying to figure stuff out, right. But most tournaments would require like, hey, your player is they already have their vaccination, or haven't had a fever for this amount of time, like all the different restrictions that you were seeing.
Yeah. Okay.
So before you even showed up, your roster had to make sure. And if that, some tournaments were like, if that's not the case, like it's an automatic forfeit for that game till you figure it out. Or yeah, just different things while they were trying to figure it out.
So it's crazy. Yeah, it is crazy, right? So now we're talking about restrictions here. We're talking about, like if you had immunization cards, it was a scary time. Mm-hmm. How were parents reacting to all this as well? Like, were they like, oh no, my son's not going, or like, did you have to convince parents?
It was honestly, I didn't want to have to convince parents. Like if they felt like the right decision for their family or their kid was like, nah, they're not going to go to practice, they're not going to play, then cool. Like that's
so there was parents.
Yeah, there definitely were parents that were like, nah, like even like, why are you trying to run it back? But at the same time, that year I probably had like 4 or 5 seniors that messaged me like every week, like, yo, coach, I'm about to graduate. Do we have any games? Like I didn't get a lot of playing time my high school season, or I didn't make my high school team at all. So is there another chance? A lot of these kids look for that. Like, do I have one more season? Do I have one more season to show coaches, college coaches, what I got? Do I have one more game, one more tournament to show these coaches what I got? So that was the biggest thing, is 4 or 5 seniors being like, hey, coach, like, are we going to play? Am I going to have another chance? Like, yeah. I remember we having one senior that was like, coach, like, I haven't turned in my papers to go on my mission, because if I can play, I'm not going on my mission until I can play. Man. And if I can't play, then shoot, I'm out, exactly. And so I really couldn't tell him like, yes, we got a tournament this day, or no, we don't. Because every time I checked the updates for AAU, it was to be determined, or this week, nope, but check in next week. So that was the part that hurt.
And these are students that are calling you up, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Has there been parents? Because the reason I guess I'm focusing on the parents right now, because there's a lot of maybe parents that don't kind of, invest in their kid.
Yeah.
And so, what would you tell parents? Like, hey, sometimes you gotta invest in your kid, whether or not they feel that they're gonna make it or not.
Yeah, and I have told parents, and I've even had parents this season, right? I've unfortunately, as much as we train our kids and train our players, I've had some that tried out for their high school team that didn't make it.
Gotcha.
As much as AAU is one thing, if they go to their high school and their coach sees something different than I do, or they just got more hoopers at their team at their school than that they just can't make it.
Yeah.
I have had parents that'll reach out and be like, is this it? Or, do I call it? What do I need to do? I've even had parents that get mad at me and go, hey, why isn't my kid playing? And I have had to talk to them and be like, look, if you want your son to make that next level, like you do have to invest in them. You have to put that time into them. Or if you want them to get better, like, putting them in a club is better. I had a parent tell me, what's the difference between having them play club or having them come train here or putting in junior jazz? It's like what you said, like investing into them. Like, well, in junior jazz, you're paying $50, right? And you're not getting the best competition. You go play club, yes, you are investing a little bit more money, a little bit more time, but in the long run, it puts them a little bit closer to getting a scholarship. You're not going to have to pay for schooling, so it is an investment in the long run because your son or your daughter has a scholarship now.
Definitely.
Yep.
Damn, and also I guess I asked that too because my brother, he has his daughter, my niece, on a basketball. Is it a club?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And so, like, I feel bad sometimes because he has to be here, right? Like, he has to be here. But and I'm pretty sure that he wants.
Nah, she actually had a game tonight. But yeah. So she plays for the Rebels, the Lady Rebels.
Nice. That's a great club.
Yeah.
But
before she was playing with she played junior jazz and she played for St. Francis.
Okay.
Like she used to go to school there.
Nice.
And she was playing there, and I just felt like it wasn't competitive. And she wasn't really learning the fundamentals and all that. So I'm like, man, we need to do something else.
Yeah. What grade is she in?
She's in 5th grade.
Yeah, it's the perfect time to make that
transition,
that
right?
move to club. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, she's been there for I want to say a year now,
Nice.
or about to be a year, and she's already picking up more. But we still have a lot to go for sure.
Yep.
Yeah, man, and like once again, the reason I say because it does take time, right? It does take patience and stuff, and I give kudos to this guy because he's really putting in the effort to encouraging her to like do that.
Yeah.
What do you do? Because sometimes I bet it's discouraging.
Yeah.
Losing like you said and stuff. So what do you do to hype up and keep the momentum going with your
team?
With your team?
Yeah, we've gone on our losing runs. I mean, even this last summer, we went on a couple losing runs. But just like I ask myself the same thing, and I'll even ask my players, like, look, if you're a competitor at all, if you're an athlete, like if you care about losing at all, like something's got to give. Like I'm not sitting here every loss and be like, well, we've lost 4 in a row, so at this point, like, let's throw in the towel, like so.
Right.
I think that's the biggest thing, and I ask my players, like, if that's not something that's drawing you in, or you're not competitive for it, then there's a different question to start asking. Like if that's not what drives you, or if it's not driving you anymore.
But how do you? Okay, so like when it comes to competitiveness and getting the kids to like start being competitive. How do you do that? How do you bring that out of a player?
Yeah. So even in the beginning of the season, we'll have like a team bonding thing, and I'll ask them like, why'd you start balling? Like, why did you start playing basketball? Because a lot of the times, like even me, like I'll go play fives or even adult league with homies sometimes, and it really is that, like, some of your best games are when you're having fun.
Yeah.
And so I'll ask them, like, why did you start hooping? And why did you go to the rec? Sometimes someone will be like, man, I used to go to the rec after school for like 4 or 5 hours and I would just hoop.
Fuck yeah.
Be like, why?
Yeah.
Like, why did you? Because I love basketball. Or like, okay, well, what's the difference now? Because it feels like, and I've had players say, like, it feels like a job. All right, why does it feel like a job? Like, what? Is it because you feel like you're clocking in? Does it feel like you're just not getting a lot out of it? Like, what's going on? It's because, like, in my games, I don't feel like I do well enough. I don't feel like, all right, well, like, and I'll even tell players, like, let's break down some film. Let's look at your film, or let's train. What part of your game do you feel isn't good? But just asking them, like, why did they start hooping, or why are they hooping? Because a lot of times they do forget. They're like, oh, well, I hoop because I'm trying to get a scholarship. Like, well, yeah, of course you're trying to get a scholarship, but like, is that the only reason why you hoop?
Yeah.
Nah, well, when I'm playing ball, like I forget about everything. And, oh, okay, there it is. Like, there it is. It's an escape, or it takes you away from all the stresses that you have. Because again, like even me, why do I coach a lot of the times, even when times are going tough, or if our 2020 when the team was losing, why do I coach? Because it's my escape. I love going into practice and it's like a puzzle, or figuring out like, hey, we're losing. How do we figure that out? Or, okay, this is how we're going to be doing drills. How do we figure that out?
Yeah.
And so why did you start? I look back at losing 40-point, 50-point games, and that's why I started, because I know where we started and where we're at now.
Yay.
And so that's one big thing that I ask him is, why are you still hooping? Why did you start?
Yeah.
That a lot of times bring out the competitiveness, and then of course winning. You work on the winning side, because when you're winning, all the problems seem to go away. When you're winning, a lot of the times like the competitiveness side or the job side of it goes away. So that's a big part of it too. If you work on the winning side of it, if you work on preventing the losses, then a lot of those problems don't start to creep up.
Got you. Man.
Do you have, or have you had to deal with any hotheads that get mad and they're like, just go crazy?
Yeah, for sure. And the crazy thing is, I've never, like, I've heard of stories where like, oh, this player like almost fought the coach or like things like that. But luckily I haven't been in that situation. I want to say again, it's just going back to that, like when you have that mutual respect with your players, I'm not going to be saying some stuff to my player that's out of line, or that I know they're going to be like, what the heck did he just say?
Yeah.
I think that's a huge part of it.
It has to be like a mutual respect.
Exactly. Like I know certain players where I can go up to him like, what the hell are you doing, man? Like you're being soft as hell. And I know other players where all I got to tell them is like, hey, you need to fix whatever the hell you're doing right now. Like, exactly. You got to step it up. Like, hey, you can be better. Like if you don't know your players, then you're just blindly like giving out or yelling at players or doing whatever. So going back to that, dealing with hotheads, a lot of the times I have had hotheads walk out of the bench, things like that. And again, I'll even be like, what? Like, again, come here. Like, what's up? Nothing, coach. My bad. No, legit. Like, what? Like, you're upset about something. What's up? I don't even know why you pulled me out of that game, for real. Like, all right, then let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's be men about it. And I'll talk about that in practice too, or even in trials. Like, look, if you got a problem, if you're mad about something, whatever it is, you guys are 2, 3, 4 years removed from being men. So have a conversation about it. Yeah. I'm going to be mad at you guys. You're going to be mad at me. So if you're coming out of the game, I don't want to hear you crying or yelling on the bench. Like, come talk to me. Like, hey, or even after the game, like, hey, coach, I felt like I was hot. I was hitting some shots and you pulled me out. All right, cool. I totally understand that. Let me explain my spot. Big thing that I'm part of is like, all right, if you were the coach and you're seeing this, what would you do? Damn. All right, coach. Like, so that's my biggest thing. I haven't had to deal with like a hothead that's like in my face or anything like that, but I would hope it has to do with just the mutual respect and knowing what their limits are, and then also knowing like, hey, don't disrespect me. I'm not disrespecting you, so don't be walking off the court disrespecting me and your team.
Yeah,
definitely.
Man,
what was we had Will Wonder here, and he said that one of his coaches he did something, and the coach like yelled at him and said, fuck, I can't remember. He told him, like,
I forgot too.
Get the fuck. Shit, I forgot. But anyways, just going back to kind of like you respecting your players and not really like putting them down and all that, because that affects them. Yep. I mean, they can say it or not, it does affect them, and then with their game, with them in life. Yeah. So
I mean, have you seen that movie? I mean, I'm sure you guys have, especially you, Coach Carter.
Oh yeah,
Coach Carter.
How did I know you were gonna say that, Fonzie?
I don't know. I was gonna say Airbud, but
oh wow.
Yeah, bro. Anyways, you know what I'm saying? Coach Carter, like that shit was crazy. How strict he was, but at the same time, it was for the greater good. And they, the kids didn't see it yet till later on, right? I mean, and sometimes it's like that. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes there's people that want the best for somebody, and they don't see it until some shit happens and shit hits the fan, and they're like, "Oh shit, yeah, I should have listened," or "Damn, I'm glad I listened." Yeah. With you, you know what I'm saying? Like your parents, did they instill all this in you in a sense of getting up to go to soccer? You better go to soccer or whatever. Yeah. What motivated you back in the day?
So that's another big thing is just sports with them, like having those, oh well, you can't miss practice, to where it started getting a point where grounding us was, you ain't going to practice today, or you're not going to your game. And it was like, damn, like, man, like they knew to take that away. Yeah. But it really was like from a young age. And then my pops was a coach too.
Wait, so they took the game away when you didn't do something correct, like disciplined you that way.
Exactly, like that was like, for me, they knew like, hey, all right, like you're gonna have to call your coach and let him know like you did this and you're not gonna be at practice today.
See, I never had nothing when I was a kid, so I would just get my ass whooped. They couldn't take nothing away from me.
Shoot, that
would just take his belt off and just.
That was definitely a part of it too. But no, like they just knew, they knew where it hurt. You know, shoot both ways. But
but when he doesn't listen now, I take the weed away and he
right. So. There you go. you hit him where it hurts.
Hit him where it hurts. Yeah.
But no, like I do remember it that way, and just like it set that tone. And then my pops was a coach too. So just having him be a coach, and like we'd go to practice and get that feedback, or even wanting to be like, all right, well, he's coaching all these other kids, like I can't be last on the drills, or I can't be like doing this, or I can't be doing that. So it was that in the start, and it really just kind of escalated from there. And even just lessons now, right? Like and I always say it doesn't even need to be sports. Like people that worked at a young age, or people, just different things that you can take lessons that you're going to need later on.
Right.
So that's one big thing that sports helped me out, or even growing up, is like, all right, well, you have a commitment, like you got to be there early.
Yeah.
Or if you said you're going to be there, you got to be there. Or like even just having your uniform ready, having those things ready, like it's just things that carry on. So even in practice, I'm a huge talker. I'm sure you guys have already can tell in the podcast.
No, not at all, bro. I think you need to speak a little bit more, bro. No, I'm joking. You're good.
But no, like just even in my practices, I'm sure my players say it, but I'll take 5-10 minutes in the middle of drills to correct them and be like, look, like it goes further than the court. Like I'm telling you all to run this way or do this, but it also goes in on like at work, right? If you want more playing time, just as you want another paycheck, well, put that work in. Like even if your current boss doesn't notice it, someone else will.
Yeah.
And so just little things where like people, even the youth, think that it's just lessons for that sport, but not. Like
it's a lesson for life.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
it goes bigger than that. So
definitely. Damn, dog.
So you said your dad was your coach.
Yeah.
Was there ever any conflict? Like
for sure. I think that's where I learned too. Is he was definitely an old school coach, and he still is. He'll tell me like, "Hey, your player was doing this." I'm like, "I know, Dad, but you can't call him out. You can't call him out like you used to." And so we would definitely clash. Like he'd be telling me like, "Hey, no, you got to do this," or practice, like even just like flashiness, right? Everyone sees it now, like the flashiness, and at my age, like it was starting to kind of come out in the sports. I remember playing soccer and scoring a goal and dancing on the field, like having all my like teammates come up and we're dancing. And he was like, "Why the hell did you do that? Yeah. What are you doing? You're embarrassing yourself, your team." And I'm just like,
"Game's not over."
I don't know, man. Exactly. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just having fun. But it's just like,
do you allow that? By the way,
like here's the biggest thing. If we're up by a lot, I don't. I really don't.
Okay.
And I won't even like if my players are dancing after they scored. I don't, just because there's again, going back to, we've lost by 40, 50 points. And you don't need to be dancing to show that you're beating a team by 40, 50 points. Right. So I think exactly, like it just goes back to that. Like if my team's up, and we've had games where we've flipped it and now we're winning by 30, 40, 50 points. And I'll take a player out if they're dancing or all that. Because even if a player's talking shit to you, like if a coach came up to me and started talking all that shit after a win, all I need to do is point at the scoreboard. Like,
can I say something though? Like, and maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but like,
honestly, you can't say anything.
In regards to that,
thank you, bro.
Fuck you guys.
He asked like he needs permission or something.
That's true. I did ask like I need permission. Thank you for giving me permission, by the way. But no, like in regards to people dancing or whatnot, wouldn't you think that would encourage the other team? Like, pump them up a little bit, or is it discouraging, or is it mostly you're concerned about the feelings of the people sitting on the what's it called, on the sides, basically the parents and all that?
I'm concerned about losing that game. Like honestly,
but what I'm saying, like let's say you're up 40 points.
Yeah. Like when they're dancing? Am I worried about like the fans, the spec? No, legit. I'm worried about like. Because basketball's like, especially at high school, bro, like, I've seen some crazy stuff happen where you're up by 30 or we're down by 30, and it could switch like that. Yeah. Like, even this last summer. So, to put it an example, we were playing some team in Vegas this last summer, and, man, we were down by, like, 30 points. And you had parents, like, every time they hit a shot, boom! Like, it was loud in that gym. if I call the timeout, yeah, call that timeout, coach, call that timeout, like all that talk. And so
you started getting pissed off too?
Exactly. It's exactly. Oh, it gets it. You get into it, right? Yeah. You get into it, but that's the thing that where they messed up, because we called the timeout with maybe 5 minutes left, and we just said like, look, guys, like I think at that point we were down 25, something like that, and we said 5 minutes left, guys, like we either call it, it's our last game in Vegas, and we let this team in Vegas, like, and I think they were even saying like Salt Lake, like where's that at? Like, y'all play basketball down there?
Damn.
And so I told him like we got 4 or 5 minutes left. Like we either leave this game with some respect. Like if we lose, we lose. But let's leave with some respect. Yeah. Like they're not respecting us right now.
Right.
Or we call it. I can put like shoot. I'll put the sophomores in, and I bet they play with more pride. Like, and we ended up coming back and winning.
Wow.
Like
in 5 minutes.
Yeah, and like that was crazy. It was. Like, even my players will say it, like, Coach, that was the funnest game I've ever been a part of.
Yeah.
Like, you're in a Vegas.
It's intense.
Like, yeah,
the pressure's
like,
on.
The gym was packed, man. Like, it was the last game of Memorial Weekend. Like, you got 2, like, tough teams playing against each other. Vegas, so, they got all their family out there. We have some of the parents that came out. Not all the parents could make it. So,
right.
And shout out to Glocko. He had the whole gym, bandits.
Hey.
And, it got loud, and we ended up coming back, and same reason I've been a part of teams games where we've been up 20 and we're talking all that shit, or my players are dancing, and I'm thinking, all right, yeah, I'm gonna let my players have their fun. And as they're having fun, that other team's like, no, hell no, like these guys are having fun. They forgot what they're here for. They forgot their game plan, and we lose that game.
Damn.
And so I've been a part of quite a few losses where that did happen, right? Where you count the win too early, and you're dancing. So that's really a big part of it.
Okay.
It's just you won, you take it with pride, and that other team isn't done yet, and neither are you.
Yeah, and the reason I think I asked also is because like I think a lot of the times like, nowadays people are getting soft, bro. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I know you get frustrated. I know you get mad. I would get mad too, but at the same time, like you're a leader, bro. You have to kind of show like, okay, none of that shit's phasing me. Mm-hmm. Let's continue, right? Yep. But don't get me wrong. Shit talking is bad.
Like bad in the bad way?
Bad in a bad way.
I thought I'd hear you say that,
I mean, I feel like I want to say yes and no. There's a thin line.
Exactly.
There's a thin line.
There is a thin line.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so I guess basically another thing I'm trying to say is like, does everybody win a trophy? Even the losers. No. Do they win a trophy?
No.
Perfect.
No.
Okay.
No.
That's what I want to know.
No.
That's what I wanted to know.
And I think that's the big, and like I'll even say like when I'm playing ball, like I'll talk my shit for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But I always tell my players, like, if you're talking to a player, like if a player comes up to you and starts talking shit, I'm not gonna tell my player, hey, don't talk to that player. Like, nah, I'm not gonna start saying that.
Yeah.
But I do tell them, like, the second it starts impacting your game, you're done. Like that you're done. Yeah. So yeah, there definitely is that fine line where, all right, like if he's gonna think that he can talk shit to you and you can talk shit back, cool. I'm cool with that. If you already can handle your shit, like if you can play your game and
not be affected emotionally,
and not be affected emotionally. Like again, I have plenty of players. I'm calling a timeout, and they've came up and call that timeout, coach. Like, get out of here. Like, I'm not worried about you. Like, I'm worried about what my team's doing. Exactly. If you have thick skin and that's not going to get through to you, by all means, do your thing. But the second it starts impacting your game and the team, that's a problem.
See, and that's funny because I was talking to my daughter the other day, and I'm like, because sometimes she's like, yeah, those girls were mean. They were like talking and throwing elbows and all that. I'm like, that's fine. Like I wasn't telling her to do it back, but I'm like, look, it's also a mind game. Like they're trying to get to you so you don't play your game. Yep. You don't do what you need to do. Right?
You get distracted. You get emotional.
So I'm like, look, let that go all over your head. Don't listen to it. I mean, you could throw a little bit of
for sure
elbows.
Not well. Yes, I mean no,
for sure. Like
bump. That's part of the game. I mean, you have to box out all that, right? So I told him, like, look, you could, just don't let them get to your head, because then you're gonna be playing like crap. You're gonna be emotional and all that. So just know that it's also a mind game. It's not just physical and just But yeah, I mean it there is a thin line between that though.
I think that, look, all sports are physical. If you're going to get into that sport, and that's kind of what I want to instill in my kids, like whatever sport you get into, it's gonna be an emotional situation. Whether you win, whether you lose, because you win, you're happy. You lose, you're sad. Like fuck that. Like even when you win, you better take it for what it is, and it's not over. We still haven't won that trophy. We still haven't got to the top. But at the same time, they got to be aware of everybody else's like how they're coming into the game. Yeah. Man, shit. I was thinking about like same thing, but a little bit different.
We can get back to it if you remember.
Okay, let's go.
Because I have a question.
Go ahead.
So the Bandits basketball, where did that come from? The name. How'd you come up with that?
Honestly, Austin Hernandez, he's not a coach anymore. He got busy with work and all that. But when we first started, we were just sitting there and we were just like, what would be a dope name? You know, like you've already heard of Salt Lake Warriors. There's a Salt Lake Rebels and Montana Rebels. I'm a huge Lakers fan, but Salt Lakers was already taken. And like I just didn't want it to go off of just with the team that I went for. So we were just like, what about some bandits? Like we just need some dogs, some bandits. Like, exactly. Like we just need some guys, like some guys that are gonna be tough. And when we walk in, they're saying like, okay, the bandits. Yeah. And that's really just how it came out. And then the colors, we were just like, all right, like what's a good color? And we were just like black and gold. Hey. Like black and gold is a good color.
You can't go wrong with that.
You can't go wrong with that. No, not at all. We love black and gold for sure.
As you can tell, right?
Yeah, as you can tell.
Exactly.
The logo and everything.
So that's really what it was. There wasn't too much like thought into it besides just like, oh, this is a badass name, Bandits, like bet. And we want to represent Salt Lake, good. Like, and we want teams when we're out of state, like Salt Lake, like all right, like cool. Keep asking that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So when it comes to, did you remember something?
Yeah, I did remember. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go good.
No, go ahead, Ruben.
All right, well, I'm gonna get it. So when it comes to, recruiting for your team, you guys do open. I think you said that you guys did tryouts.
Yeah, so we have tryouts. Usually high school season ends around like mid-February, and I know how it is. I'm not trying to. If I did tryouts a week after high school season, I probably wouldn't get any players coming because just again getting to know the youth now. Back then I'd be like, let's run it, let's go. But now players will be like, oh, I need 2, 3, 4 weeks, and then I got spring break, coach. Nah, like I need some time. So we start tryouts around like mid-April, and back then it was just we used to put up flyers at the rec centers. Okay, flyers with like Salt Lake Bandits, come try out. And our last year that we did that, we had 10 kids show up. We rented out the whole rec center, and we were expecting 30, 40 kids, and we rented out the whole rec, and we had 10 kids. And I remember even one of the kids was mopping up the floor at the rec, and we're like, "You play ball?" Sometimes with my friends, and we were like, "Cool, come play." And so it definitely was rough then. And then we started getting to social media, and then I started coaching high school ball. So at different games, I'm like, "Hey man, like, you play club ball?" "No, I don't." "All right, cool. Like, you should." And it just kind of expanded from there.
Okay. So if there's anyone listening right now, that's interested in maybe joining up with the club, how would they get in contact with the organization? Yeah,
so they can go on Instagram, Salt Lake Bandits, and also we just recently created a new Facebook page, so Salt Lake Bandits as well. So they can just search us up, and they can DM us, and from there they can get my phone number. After they DM us, we can go from there.
And so virtually anyone, right, has the opportunity to play with
for
Bandits.
For sure.
Any age?
No, so right now we're.
I was trying to jump on.
Right,
that's a great question.
No, that is a great question. I get that all the time. We're hoping to this next season go to 6th and 7th grade, and add a 6th and 7th grade team. We're getting there. As we expand, we got to get coaches. Yeah. And coaches that are actually going to teach the game the right way. I think, as you were saying, you don't want to pay and have a junior jazz coach.
Yeah. No, I'm saying because of me.
I know. You want to be able to.
Well, he's in 5th grade.
Want to fight?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, we've had 8th graders that were on our 12th grade team before.
Oh, damn.
So,
for real?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, I could do it then. Put me in, coach.
That's what I'm saying. 8th grader. But yeah, like right now we have 8th and 9th grade team, which is our U15 team. Then we have our sophomore team that is U16. And then juniors and seniors, depending on what level they are, make up our elite and our select team.
Oh, shit.
So
okay,
I think that was really good information to clarify for the listeners.
So. Well,
definitely.
Go ahead.
Oh, shit.
I had the question. You told me I could ask.
Go then.
Yeah, hey, Memo, shut up, Memo.
So there's a plateau for everybody, right? Like where you can't go any further. Like for me, example, I can't play right now. But like when you were playing, when'd you stop playing? At what age?
I stopped playing in high school.
Why?
I honestly thought playing college was like this
Far-fetched.
impossible, exactly, like just impossible dream. Like,
But why though?
exactly that. Like, I just thought I couldn't do it. I didn't believe that I could do it.
Can I? And maybe I'm wrong. And
Oh no, you're good.
Is it because of your height?
That and just like I would watch pro games, and I thought, nah, my skills,
cannot make it.
Exactly, my skills not there. Like, nah, and it's just like I didn't realize there are so many Like, yes, high school's here, but it's not pro and then like college. It's pro, college, Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, junior college.
Yeah.
And so back then I thought it was just like, oh, high school, and if you're not ready for up here, then you
You're
ain't
done.
gonna make it. Exactly. But I didn't realize there's still right here that you can. So it was high. It was like, oh, I don't have the skill. Like, you got to be averaging crazy numbers to be able to even play college.
Right.
And that couldn't be more wrong. And I've realized that now. The more I'm like, oh, okay, well, like that is possible. Even if you don't play for your high school team, like that is possible.
So you still encourage somebody that is below average in height or whatever. And I'm bringing up height because, as you could tell, I'm not the highest,
Ozzy, you
tallest
stand up for the
motherfucker.
people?
I stand
He's
up for
not
the
the
people.
highest.
I'm not the highest because I don't smoke weed. I'm joking. Huh?
No, I was just joking.
Oh, okay. But yeah, no, like how do you
Have you? My bad. Have you seen that video where Tory Lanez is in
Oh.
the interview and he stands up and he's still the same height?
Hey, I don't talk shit about Tory
Yes,
Lanez,
he
bro.
tried.
Tory
fucked
Lanez,
up.
if you hear this, please don't shoot us in the feet.
Yeah, for real. No, but like, how do you encourage someone like that? Like,
Yeah, like legit, it's on it just pulling up player. And before it was like pulling up players that I didn't even coach and showing them as examples. And it's kind of hard to convince that. But now it's pulling up players like I have a player that was 5'8", 5'9", and he played at a junior college. I have a player that's 5'10", played at a junior. So it's
well, but you see, like that's crazy, right? Because like Muggsy, what's his name? Muggsy
Bogues.
Right. He was one of the shortest players, right? But then if you think about it, he's still tall compared to maybe us,
Yeah,
right?
that's how I
He was
felt about
5'6".
Derek Fisher.
Derek
5'6".
Fisher too.
Facts.
He's like small. Like when you see him on TV, he's like so small compared to all the other players. But then
He's like 6 foot.
Nate
yeah, you look
Robinson
up his stats,
too.
he's like 6 feet.
Nate Robinson's
5'9".
something like that. Yeah.
You know what
Shout
I'm
out to
saying?
him, man.
Yeah, definitely.
For real.
Representing the
That's
short
the short
people.
players.
Yeah, bro. And another thing, there's not really a lot of Hispanics that play basketball. There is, but there's not.
Exactly.
Right? They're not out there that we don't see.
Because I guess you have to be an all-star to actually, or not really, making noise pretty much in the game.
Him saying, what did you just say, that there's not a lot of Hispanics?
Hispanics.
I just saw, I don't know if it's true or not, but I saw something earlier today about possibly the NBA taking another team and it being the Mexico City team.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Yeah,
I
they've
don't
been
know.
thinking about expanding.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
That would be awesome.
cool. Because I think if they did a Mexico City team, I'd have a new team.
Hey, bro. So it's crazy,
Yo,
right? So
crazy.
we went to Mexico back when I was like maybe 16, 15,
So about 45 years ago?
45 years ago. Exactly.
I'm done playing Fonzie. He's not that old, guys.
Of course I'm
He's
not.
still
Look at
young.
me.
He's still- look at him.
You look older than me, and I'm older than you. Anyways,
It's the beard
yeah, it is the
and the
beard.
balls. Baby
What-
balls.
those
I'm
little
just- I'm
pieces
just
of
kidding. I'm just kidding.
I feel bad for you, balls. You pee on them all the time. Damn.
Go ahead.
Anyways,
Say what you're
so
gonna
we went to Mexico and shit, and bro, like we started playing with the people there basketball, and I thought I was good, and you know what I'm saying, I'm not good at all. Anyways, but I thought I was good at the time, and they were like balling, bro. They were good. I was like,
out
fuck.
there. Yeah.
But they play every day.
Man, but basketball is it's like a worldwide sport, man. They be playing it in Europe.
Yeah.
They're playing it all over in Asia.
Yeah.
The tournament that we go to in Vegas, we played teams from Hong Kong, Mexico. We
damn.
played a team that's one of the 40-point losses we had a couple
Yeah.
years ago was a team from Mexico. Like, best communication I've seen from a basketball team. Like, they were good. And so just teams from Hawaii, teams from Alaska. I think the craziest that we played a team from Colombia. So it really is a worldwide sport.
Hey, talking about we were talking about it earlier, but coaching or in coaches, Coach Carter. Who are coaches that you look up to?
Phil Jackson, for
Yeah.
sure. I've read a few of his. Yeah, Phil Jackson is one of them. I love it, like his concept of one, just making sure his teams are at peace, especially nowadays. Like, I think when you guys was mentioning it, like a lot of the stuff that goes on at home. And so reading some of Phil Jackson's books is just making sure like they're at peace. He used to have them meditate.
Yeah.
Bro, not only that though, right? Because I was reading a little bit about what he did, and he said that he never tried to fix anybody's conflicts. For example, Kobe's and Shaq's.
He stayed out of it.
No, not he didn't stay out of it. He used it as for his advantage, because I guess what he did was he fueled up the whole little rivalry thing.
He gassed it up.
He gassed it up, and then they would like come out there and play, fucking like they
to like one up each other.
yeah yeah. And it's crazy. It's crazy.
Wow.
You know, the little things you have to do to be a better basketball coach.
Yeah,
to be a better leader.
Yeah, understanding your guys, getting to know, like exactly what you said, like getting to know what makes them tick,
Yeah.
what'll motivate them, what'll get them to go.
Yeah.
I mean, he did it with the Bulls too. Like
That's
he
true.
was a
Yeah.
great leader of superstar personalities. And I like that a lot because nowadays, again, every high schooler thinks they're a superstar.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah,
even
I can see that.
Like even just taking it down to that little concept and just like making sure, like, yeah, you want their confidence to be up, but also checking them. I'm coaching a player right now, Hunter, that's like a top prospect in the state.
Yeah.
But I don't let him know. You know, I'll be at practice and he'll shoot a shot, and
He's gonna hear this, right?
oh, for sure. And I hope he is watching because he knows
Hey.
it. But I mean, he makes 1-3 and he'll turn around and be like, boom, that's for you, coach. And I'll be like,
Hey.
nice, 1 for 10. That's it. But no, legit, like, because he knows he is good, but motivating
room,
that
yeah,
exactly.
for
There's always
improvement.
room, and then also knowing that he's that player that can take that and be like, all right, like bet. Like,
Yeah.
you think that's it? Like, let me make more threes, and then I'm gonna be like,
I'ma show
boom,
you.
take that. Exactly.
Yeah.
How old are you, by the way, bro?
26.
26. Yeah, you're young, bro.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
You're
Yeah.
young. Good. Yeah.
When I was in 6th grade, I played little league football, and I remember like before the games and after the games, we had this little thing. We would put all our hands in, and we'd say, our coach would make us say, "Refuse to lose," right? And it was just funny because that season we lost the majority of our games, and my older brother would always make fun of us.
Oh, wow.
He's like, "Refuse to lose. You guys just lost. What do you mean?" Like, damn. And then he'd always be like, "Put Vargas in. Hey, coach, put Vargas in." And he used to call me the ass back. Because he said that I'd say, "Oh, coach, put me in." He said, "Coach would say, get your ass back, Vargas." Fuck. But yeah,
That's
I just thought
funny.
I'd throw that in there. It has nothing to do with basketball.
No,
you're good,
it's
man.
good, bro.
It is good. Like, so many coaches' stories, man. Like, it like, especially that. You have so many stories to look back on, coaches. You don't realize how much memories are even
You're
a part of.
creating.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
your coach is a big part, man. Like,
Yeah.
it's.
Yeah, especially if you have a fun coach. I've never had one. No, I'm joking, but it is. But especially if you do have a fun coach, I think that's dope.
Yeah.
I was coaching. I'm not even coaching. They my kids'
He
soccer
was,
team.
but they ticked
No,
him off.
I was coaching my kids' soccer because the original coach, he couldn't make it for a few games or whatever. So I was coaching them, and then he was supposed to come take pictures with the kids or whatever, right, for picture day, and he didn't show up. So I had to step in. I look like one of the kids and shit. I look like one of the players, like motherfucker.
Hey, how did your kids do in soccer, Fonzie?
They're doing great.
Did they? Oh, they're still playing?
season's
yeah,
over.
the season's over, but they did
Were they
great,
scoring?
and then they're going back in spring.
Were
Huh?
they scoring?
Yeah. Oh hell yeah.
That's dope. I need to go watch one of their games.
Yeah, definitely, bro. You're invited. Yeah, you too, bro. If you ever want to go.
Nah, I don't. I
Okay.
like those. Nah, I just playing.
I like watching the kids
Excuse
play
me?
soccer because sometimes they're like running the wrong way, and
Yeah.
it's so fun.
Well,
that
that's
age,
back in
yeah.
the day. Nowadays, they get the game.
Yeah,
a little
they
bit better
know it.
now.
They know it
Yeah,
now.
a little bit better. Yeah, for sure.
I was gonna say we did, speaking about coaches, like our coach, he was strict. He was like the old school coaches that was like,
when
hey,
you say
you
our
know,
coach, what coach do you mean?
Basketball team.
coach,
Right,
my
but
bad.
Cyprus.
Yeah, Cyprus.
Cyprus?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So he was strict. He's like, hey, you know, everybody on game day, you guys have to wear, you know, tie, you know, collared shirt and all that. You know, we couldn't do certain things, and you know, so it kind of.
You watched Coach Carter too, huh?
I don't know. I'll ask him when I see him. Nah, but he was strict like that, so
Yeah.
it kind of, I don't know, separated like the love of basketball from me. And like now I'm seeing Coach Trey, because we also had him on here as well.
Coach
Shout
Trey's a
out to
cool
Coach
guy.
Trey.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Yeah, he's coaching up at Cypress.
At
I
Cypress.
got a few
And-
guys at Cypress.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
And man, he changed that whole
Program?
Basketball
program.
team.
Yeah, man.
Turned it around.
360, and he's doing a great job, and I love it. I go watch their games, and the kids are having fun, man. Like you said, he lets them dance, but when they're doing overboard, he's like, hey, nah, you need to calm down.
Yeah,
So
it's a small world, man. One of my assistant coaches played for Coach Trey at Cypress, and so
damn.
a lot of the same things. I love that, man. That you're seeing a lot of the old school coaches, and again, no knock. There are some great old school coaches,
hell yeah.
but you're starting to see a lot younger coaches or coaches that are like, all right, let me add my mix or my style to this, and it's
Exactly.
working. I mean, shout out to Cypress, probably one of the top programs, if not the top program in the state.
Yeah.
So, and same thing, right? Like you have when they started big losses, and when you have the right coach, when you have the right culture, all those things, it makes wonders, man.
Yeah, it's amazing to see that
And,
for sure.
Talking to, and also while we're on coaches, do you kind of get together with different coaches and to speak on the game and speak how you guys can make your games better and the community better?
Yeah.
Because what you're doing for the community, I think, is a great thing. The Lake Talk 801, we like to help the community. We want to help the community however we can,
Right.
especially with this platform, right? So in that sense, do you guys get together, or is there anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I kind of saying like 2021 is kind of when we started winning and getting so. I've really
Getting some
started hitting,
momentum
exactly.
going.
So hitting that surface. So to answer that, yeah, there's been a lot of coaches from the Ben Lomond High School coach where every summer outside of tournaments we have 2 or 3 scrimmages against them at their high school.
Yeah.
That's just because we know each other and we'll talk ball, we'll talk all those things, and then Coach Trey being another one where we've even started texting this summer now that we have players on his team, and he was really cool about, hey, okay, Bandits has this tournament, then
Let's get together.
That way they can come to Cypress games, they can go to Bandits games, things like that.
That's dope.
So it's been awesome, man. And then
What about coaches in the east side? On the east side, do you guys talk to them, or are they too good for the hood?
I know some cool East Side coaches, but I don't know where that separation
Comes from?
exactly. I don't know, because I know like good coaches aren't purposely doing that separation. Unfortunately, I think it's just the West Side doesn't either somewhere
So
along.
it's a Tupac and Biggie beef, east
I-
side, west side
I
type
don't
of
even
shit.
I don't
For real.
even know if it's that. It's just
a thing.
like for example, last year we had a player at Hunter that averaged 18 points per game, dropped 38 on Cypress, like broke the record, and he didn't get noticed on any of the like Utah like state teams or anything like that.
Yeah.
Whereas like you got teams on the east side, like a player that dropped 5 points per game will be on that.
Okay, let me ask you this then.
Maybe is it part of like who they know, who you know?
It is, and like that's one thing that I've realized that, and it's not a thing where I'm just gonna.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, like where even clubs or players can sit around and be like, all right, well I'm gonna complain. Like for example, this year the Utah started the Utah Top 50, where they invite the top 50 players in Utah. And the player that I was mentioning that's one of those top guys was a freshman last year, averaging.
Was he of color, by the way?
Um,
And I don't want to make it a racial thing, right?
Right.
Because that's so cliche. Everybody, but at the same time, it is like that though, bro. What?
No, it's just funny because he said is he colored, and then he said I don't want to make it a racial thing.
But it is.
do
But it
you or
is.
do you
though.
not?
Yeah, I do want to make it a racial.
so the player that averaged 18, yes, and then the other one is he's Asian, and so, but I think it's also the school. I think it's the school that you go to, and the thought that all right, well, that this person goes to this school, they probably aren't that good, or they're averaging those numbers because of the schools that they play against.
Right.
And so that really is the biggest difference. So, for example, this Utah Top 50, you had players every week they'd post like, here are the 5 players that are being invited. And it started getting to the point where you had players that like didn't even play varsity last year, and they were getting invited to that. And one of our guys was a freshman last year, starting every game in varsity and averaged like 10 points per game.
Damn.
And he didn't get picked.
Wow.
And so I'm petty where I'll go look up the numbers and I'll compare them and all that. And I did, and there were at least 10, 15 guys that were picked that either didn't play any varsity minutes or average like there was a guy that averaged like 0.2 points per game.
Wow.
And was picked in that.
Wow.
And when I asked, I just want to know why. You know, like when you're comparing these numbers, why wouldn't you think this guy belongs?
Yeah,
in the
because
top
the
50
numbers speak. Yeah.
And so the answer was, well, we spoke to a lot of college coaches, and they know these players. They don't really know him. And so back to that, it's who you know.
And that's true. That's true.
That's all I needed to hear. So kind of going back to the drawing board, I go, okay, cool. Like if that's what's keeping Bandits from that, cool. Then we can either sit there and be like, dang, well that's messed up.
Yeah.
All right, well, cool. Like let's take
Let's
the next
network.
step. Exactly. So
network.
part of it, like I appreciate you guys having me on this podcast, but that's a big step on it. Another one is we reached out to Under Armour, Nike, Adidas to see, okay, well, a lot of these top teams in Utah are getting invited to these tournaments. Like, what do we got to do to get a sponsorship?
Yeah.
And we finally got a response back. They asked for a video, for a resume, talking about who we are, and hopefully that helps us take that next step to no longer who do you know, be the barrier for keeping us from that.
Oh yeah.
There's a team, the Bengals. I don't know if you ever heard of them. It's like it's
The football team, Fonzie?
No, it's a basketball team for the youth.
Okay.
It's like I think it's a high school, or anyways, we would go do some work out there, and we did like our whole audio. It's like 2 hours away.
North, south.
South. Fuck. The Bengals. Anyways, well, they have like a great program there too, man. And I was just curious if you knew them and you guys ever played them.
I haven't heard of the Bengals, but there are different. The more I've seen, like there are different clubs. You have like the top clubs, which are like 2 or 3. They're the main ones where you got guys going D1 out of there, and then after that, like you know about Rebels, you know about Phenom Factory, so different clubs. I haven't heard of Bengals, but I'm sure they are out there, and I'm sure they are like a big. But there's just the more you see Utah, like there's so much basketball.
Yeah, I mean,
hey man, that's crazy.
That team was pretty good.
I did not see that growing up, like here in Utah. Maybe because it was all out here on the east side or whatever. But has it been like that? How long has it been?
No, I really think it's started expanding, because when I was in high school, you probably knew of like 3 to 5 clubs like Pump and Run, even XM Elite, and it's really expanded now. I think kind of the same concept. I know I'm not the only one that started asking the same questions of like, well, if they're not playing on those teams, what team do they play on?
Yeah.
And that can't be the only way they're getting exposure. Like,
bro, like that's crazy, man. Like that they didn't take that dude because they didn't know him. Like, but then again, it goes to show how much your network is your net worth. You know what I'm saying? Like it's true. At the end of the day, it's like who you know, not what you know. So you guys are like reaching out to different people.
Oh yeah.
But definitely, is it you reaching out to Nikes and all these brands, or is it gonna have to be you reaching out to coaches?
It's both. It when it comes to recruitment, we've reached out to coaches. Proudly we got an Excel sheet full of different phone numbers and emails directly to head coaches at different college programs, and it came down from like. I remember a couple years ago, again, asking the same thing. Well, why aren't our guys getting recruited? Well, have you tried messaging the coaches? No. Cool. That's all I needed to know. And so going on Instagram and finding like even college basketball teams like head coach, email, phone number, texting them, calling them. And of course, sometimes it's like phishing. Sometimes they won't respond, but sometimes they're like, oh, cool, you got players?
Let's check them out.
Let's see what's up. And so it started from there. So it's just as much as we reached out to Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, we reached out to college coaches, just to kind of expand that more. We've 2 of our sponsors, one plays and they've both asked that they stay anonymous, but we have one in the NFL and one that used to play in the NBA for Jazz. Now he plays overseas, and so we have 2 sponsors too that help out a lot as well.
Yeah.
How did were you nervous when you first did that? Like started speaking to these coaches, head coaches, like because that's you know what I'm saying. That's nerve wracking, bro.
Definitely, especially because. When they're calling on the phone, they're not just trying to talk about highlights. They're trying to talk about like, all right, well, what situations do you put them in, and what are they good at? So it was nerve wracking, but same way, like as much as they started asking questions, like, oh, okay, these are the kind of conversations they want to have. Yeah, like I need to be prepared for that. Dope. And so it really like every year it's been a learning process, like not just coaching, but recruiting and getting the exposure out there and all the different things. And then once the season's over, all right, well. Training, because coaching is completely different from skill training. Yeah. So those things as well.
Do you think? Do you have any question?
No, go ahead.
Do you think like working at a call center kind of help you out to be more personable, be more like outgoing, social?
Yeah. Yes. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. And so when I started there, it was I started working with clients that would come into the office, and so that's where it started being a lot more personable and things like that. And then being on the phones and then training people, and so that definitely helped a lot. I've said it from day one, like. They went hand in hand. I feel like I would go to work after coaching the night before, and I'd be like, oh, cool, there's things that I've learned from basketball coaching that I could bring into leading adults and vice versa.
Yeah.
So I really did become a lot more personable and even just like know how to lead different personalities from that.
And were you like that kind of in a sense, like while you were playing soccer in high school? Were you a personable person, like would speak to everybody?
Yeah, I just didn't. I guess I just didn't understand like the psychology of how leadership.
Yeah,
because there really is so much to it, like personalities and all that.
Definitely.
So back then it was just like, oh well, I'm just chill with like I'll talk to different people. Like I got different teammates and I just got to know how to get along with them. Like I may have a teammate that's this way and a teammate that's that way, and that's all it was before. It's just like I don't want to be any beef with anybody. You know? Like I'm cool with all my teammates. If you guys are fighting, like you guys squab it out. Like I'm not in that, like, and so then when I got to work and it was like more structured leadership, that's when I really started learning like, oh, okay, like there's a science or there's a psychology behind like leading people. And
definitely, bro, because there is, and you seem like a very personable dude, man, and I'm pretty sure you're doing great stuff with these kids, man, and definitely want to thank you, bro, for like even coming through and sharing your story and sharing what you're doing. But thank you, man, because you're doing a service for these kids, bro. Like for example, like my brother said, back in the day, he didn't see that. I didn't see that. I wish I would have. I would have made his ass, you know what I'm saying, go and join these clubs, basketball clubs, because it's something I think he needed. But
but for real.
But I think it would have helped him out because this dude fucking he never would shoot the damn fucking ball, and I still want to slap
the reason
we wide open. I'm like, pass it,
shoot
it. Hey, pass it.
The thing was that I think Trey said it too, that I would play robot basketball, which they would call the plays, and I would just because I didn't really grow up playing organized basketball. I was mostly street, so.
But I think you're still playing that even now.
What do you mean?
Because you don't shoot when you go play.
That's not true.
That's
not true. I've seen
you seen him play?
Yeah, I've played with him.
Why don't you
He's
record
always
it?
shooting. I always pass the ball to him.
Yeah, but yeah.
Anyways, but how important do you think it is for youth sports? How important do you think sports is for the youth?
I think it's super important, and kind of what I was speaking on earlier, like if that's not your thing, like sports is not the end all be all for you to be responsible.
Right.
I know people that chose to work at a young age, like they finish school and then they go work, or they have a manager job in high school, and you learn responsibility from that too. But if you don't, I think sports is huge. I think just for me, a lot of the different personality traits that I can see, and even just for different adults, they'll come to me and be like, man, like I was on so many different teams having to adapt to different teammates. It's helped me adapt to the real world because you're going to meet all kinds of different people that may not think the same way that you do or react the same way. And then just being able to understand a loss or a win or having to work for certain goals. There's just so much, again, that I was saying where you can take a basketball lesson or even just a sports lesson, because I know in every sport, and apply it to life. And so I think it is super important.
Right.
If you're not doing something outside of school, to do something that's teaching you some of those lessons, wanting to be on time, not just because like, oh, well, I have to, but no, like, you want to be on time because for practice, for example, like you want to be having your stuff on, you want to be stretched out, avoid injuries, which a lot of times takes until you're an adult to understand, because then you're like, oh, damn, I got to stretch. But just life lessons that I feel you don't learn outside of things that you get when you're growing up.
I the only reason I asked, because when I was growing up and I was like playing these little league teams and stuff, there was a big mentality that a lot of the kids had that we do this and we don't do drugs and we don't do this and that. I think it's really important for kids to be able to have an outlet and be able to be active and positive, and just to be around other like-minded kids and people. You know, it keeps them out of the street, keeps them doing something positive, active,
Busy.
and I think that's huge. And it gives the kids something to do, keeps them busy.
Yeah, idle time is bad. You know what I'm saying? Like I think when kids are idle, they just mess up.
They need to find something
yeah.
to do, and they just get whatever.
to keep their brain going, their mind going, instead of just thinking all this other bullshit.
For a lot of us that aren't like athletic or whatever, or don't do sports, I think the reason that we love sports is because we like to watch people compete. You know, and
Why? Because we wish we could do that.
No, just it's just entertaining. You know what I mean? But there's a whole other side to it that I think sports really help people, man. It keeps people on the right path.
Yeah, I mean, even just feedback, right? Like, I had my fair share of coaches that would bitch me out, you know, right in my face. Hell, my dad was one of them.
Damn.
Right, you know, but you also have your fair share of like calm coaches, and again, translates to the real life. Like, you may have a boss that you don't agree with, or you don't see eye to eye with, or you have a boss that was the chillest boss, and it goes from one day to the other, like you have to go to a different supervisor, a different boss, or whatever it may be. Or you have a business and you have a certain partner or sponsor that you're dealing with. And I've had players even ask me, like, Coach, what does this have to do with basketball? If I play ball, I'm just going to ball and I don't have to worry about making partnerships. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, if you get a shoe deal and you're in a meeting or you're in an interview or you're trying to build your brand, like, how are you going to do that? You think you're just going to play ball, or you're going to have conversations, you're going to have interviews? Like, all right, yeah, like it applies to everything, man. Like, again, like if you have a business, if you have a group of employees that you lead, like having those conversations, all that, like it goes way beyond basketball.
Yeah, man, that's a trip, man. Have you ever thought about like having a film crew, like you know, kind of follow you around in a day in a day in the life of Coach Danny?
That's one of the things that we want the next step of, is having that. And then also we want to be able to have a film crew go with us to Vegas and film. We usually get, like last year we had an Airbnb that was paid for by one of our sponsors.
Hey.
So it was like 20 kids in an Airbnb, so you can only imagine the
how that was.
But also, I mean, and it was cool. We had a team bonding session. There were tears when we talked about toughest things that have happened in our life, but just things that make your team stronger. And yeah, like just plans that we have. We have plans of, we've been looking at different locations in West Valley to open up our own facility.
Yeah.
Dope.
So just different things that we're looking at to expand that.
Cool, man. Hell yeah, bro. Well, you know, we're coming up on that time, but what's it called before that? Can you let the listeners know what your handles? Where can they reach you at again? One more time.
Yeah, so it's at SLBandits on Instagram, and then on Facebook just SLBandits.
Okay.
And they should be able to find us just from that. We're working on building a website as well. Once we do have that, we'll promote it on both Facebook and Instagram.
Okay. Dope.
Yeah, so you should be able to find us on there. We have highlights from individual players, tournaments, pictures, team pictures, all that. And again, you guys can DM us if you have any questions about the club itself or even training.
Okay.
We have all that.
Dope, man.
And something we like to ask here, where's your favorite local spot to eat at?
Woo, favorite local spot, Mr. Shabu's.
Oh, okay, I haven't heard that one. Shabu's. Where's that
Where's
at?
that?
So that's in Gateway.
Shabu's.
Yeah,
I'm
and
going to
it's
have to check that out.
so it's pretty much a hot pot where you make your own soup.
Okay.
But it's cheap. It's like $25 per person, but it's all you can eat. Appetizers too. So
Included?
yeah.
Oh shit! Damn.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
Yeah, we gotta go.
And so you get to choose. You got like 4 different broths that you can choose. They bring it to you. Then they ask you what meat you want, and they got like 8 different steaks and meats that you can choose to put in there. And then once you've done that, you go to the salad bar, and they got seafood, vegetables, all that you can put in there.
Word.
And, like, you just, if you want to be there for like 2 hours just building your soup, you keep doing it. Appetizers, like, I want more appetizers. Just keep them coming, like, all you can eat.
I go to Shabu Shabu.
Oh, really?
It's in Sandy.
Okay.
Wait,
But-
so what was it called?
Shabu.
Mr. Shabu.
Mr. Shabu.
Mr. Shabu.
Mr. Shabu.
Are they related or what?
I don't
Right?
know. I don't know. Maybe. But I'm going to go. Shit, it's cheaper over there, $20.
Yeah, man, and it's all you can eat.
But is it like a certain time that you have to go for that? Or
I think so. I think for like lunch, it's 10 to 2. And then for dinner, it's like 5 till 10.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
We'll have to
shit. We
check
got to
it out.
go.
Yeah, it's really good, man.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Do you have any shout outs?
Oh, man, lots of them. Shout outs to Hunter High School basketball. Shout out to Cypress High School basketball. Shout out to Kearns High School basketball. Shout out to Coach Tate. Shout out to Coach Trey, Coach Harold, West Valley Trav, and Shoner. And that's everyone that I can think of as of now, but I know there's plenty of other people that have helped the Bandits out or been a part of the Bandits' progress.
That's what's up, bro.
Sure.
Hell yeah, man. Well, thank you so much for coming through, bro. Whenever you need to promote something, or just let us know, man, and we'll try to get you on, or we'll promote it on our page as well, man.
Sure.
It was nice meeting you.
Definitely.
It's dope that your brother is Glacko, man.
That's funny. I was just
Glacko,
about to
man.
say another shout out Pura Vida and shout out Glacko for sure.
Yeah.
If anyone hasn't seen the Mike Masters episodes that came out on YouTube, go and check that out. Glacko did his thing.
Hell yeah.
He left his opponent speechless and
Torch the man.
Yeah, I feel bad for him. Bro.
Did you watch? Were you there?
No, so he told us what time it started.
Right.
So we pulled up and he was like, "No, it actually started like 30 minutes before it was actually supposed to start."
Oh.
So we pulled up like right when it ended.
Oh,
I know, man. Yeah, but he sent us the video and then I saw the YouTube. Oh man.
It was crazy, man.
I was getting hurt.
Mike Wazowski, dude. That line killed me, bro. I was rolling, dude.
Yeah,
But,
got it.
Anything you feel that we missed today that you would like to let people know?
No, just shout out to a couple of our players too. I wish I could mention him, but it's not official just yet. But
Okay.
he's gotten an offer from one of the colleges. He hasn't signed yet, but shout out to him and plenty more that we're hoping to get some offers this winter.
Dope, man. Dope. Well, we hope to have you on, and we'll definitely, keep you posted. I'm talking to the listeners now on anything that Danny has going on with Bandit basketball. Well, what are you laughing?
Not go ahead, my bad.
I'm about to slap this guy. Anyways, you guys have a great night or day or whatever you want to do.
Before you sign off, Fonzie, I just want to give a shout out and a huge thank you to
bye. No, I'm joking.
Don't do that again. I want to give a huge shout out and a thank you to Bohemian Brewery for hooking us up and for being there for us. So,
Definitely.
thank you.
Definitely.
Please drink responsibly.
Yes. Peace.
Thank you for listening. Join us next time on the Lake